Good afternoon, students. Myself, Sanjeev Kumar Srivastav, TGT-SST from JNV, Manpuri, Uttar Pradesh. Today we discuss our topic, human environment, settlements, transport and communication. Firstly, we divided this topic into three parts. First part is settlement, second part is transport, and third part is communication. Now let's start our discussion with first topic, and that topic is settlement. Students, you have learned that early human beings depended entirely on nature for food, clothing, and shelter. But time, they learn new skills to grow foods, build homes, and develop better means of transport and communication. In this way, they modified the environment where they live, where the people live. They modified the environment. And what is the definition of settlements? Settlements, simple definition of settlements, settlements are places where people build their homes. This is the simple definition. And you know it very well, early human beings lived on tree and caves where they started to grow crops. It became necessary to have a permanent settlement and permanent home. The settlements grew near the river valleys because the availability of water, because the water is the basic need of our life. So they developed his settlements in near the river valleys, and where where one of the main factor is also available is the fertile land. And after that, development of trade, commerce, and manufacturing, human settlements become larger settlements, flourished, and civilizations. And you know it in history's part, in history books, you learn where every great civilization had developed in river, inside river, especially Indus River in India, Nile rivers, Tigris, and other rivers are also developed great civilizations. And settlements, two parts. First part is permanent settlements, and second part is temporary settlements. Firstly, the definition of the permanent settlements. Permanent settlements where people live in a long time, and that's called permanent settlement. And temporary settlements where people live in a short time. Like in example wise, if you will live in deserts area like cold and hot deserts, hilly thatched area, mountain, and other hot and other very difficult climate where they live, where people build temporary settlements. Here, you know it in where temporary settlements had developed, where the human beings as gathering, hunting, and transhumans. This transhumans, you know it, students. Transhumans, it is a seasonal movement of people. People who rear animal move in search of new pastures in seasonal wise. In summer, they come to the they go to the top of the mountain. In winter season, they come to the valley side. So this is the part of the settlement. Here we can identify two pictures of settlements. This picture actually belongs to rural settlements, related to rural settlements, and that's two parts of the settlement is called compact settlements, and of other settlements name is scattered settlements. Compact settlements, these settlements build especially in dense population areas, where is availability of fertile soil, availability of water, and where especially closely built area, that's called compact settlements. Second is scattered settlements. Scattered settlements, in a scattered settlements, dwelling are spaced over an extensive area like forest, cold and hot deserts, especially in hilly areas like thick forest and hilly tracts areas, and region of extreme climate where they settle scattered settlements. Scattered settlements and compact settlements. These are the two settlements of rural part of rural settlement.
One.
Now we discuss types of houses. In rural areas, people build homes to suit their environment. In regions of heavy rainfall, they have slanting roofs, and places where water accumulates in rainy season, the houses are constructed on a raised platform or stilts. Thick mud walled houses with thatched roofs are very common in area of hot climate. Local materials like stones, mud, clay, straw, etc. are used to construct houses. This is the features of rural types of houses in rural areas. And now one of the settlements, other settlements is urban settlements. Urban settlements, the towns are small and the cities are larger. In urban areas, the people are engaged in manufacturing, services, and trading, and this is called urban settlements. Students, now we discuss the second part of this topic, and the second topic is transport. Transport is the means of which people and goods move one place to another place. In the early days, you know it took a great deal of time to travel long distances, especially that time people had to walk and used animals to carry their goods. But especially one invention is change the transport system, and they change transport into ancient transport to modern transport, and that invention name is wheel. And this invention made transport very easier. With the passage of time, different means of transport developed, but even today people use animals for transport. In our country, you know, is donkeys, buffaloes, and camels, horse are common. In South America, especially in Andes mountain, where is llamas one of the animal they used. In Tibetan region, Tibetan plateau, where is yak they use. And the early traders from other countries used to take several months to reach India. They took either the sea route or the land route. But airplanes, when the airplanes has begun, airplanes have made travel faster. Now it takes only 6 to 8 hours to travel from India to Europe. And modern means of transport thus saves times and energy. The four major means of transport are roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. The four major means of transport are roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. Firstly, we discuss roadways. The most commonly used means of transport, especially the short distance or roads. If you go to short distance, you prefer roadways especially. They can metal, and that's called in local language pakka road. That's called metal road. and in unmetalled, and that's called kacha road. You see the where is the not especially construct road like Dama road, that's called unmetalled, and that's called kacha road. The plains have a dense network of roads. Where is the plain area? Where is the dense network of roads? Roads have also been built in mountain areas, especially in terrains like deserts, forest, and even in high mountains in remote areas also. One of the very important question in competition wise, one of the important question, Manali Leh highway in the Himalayan range mountain in one of the highest roadway in the world. Manali Leh highway in the Himalayan range, Himalayan mountains, is one of the highest roadways in the world. And also other types of roadways developed. If we develop or build underground road are called subway or underpath road. You need now if you go to the highways, whereas lots of underways developed, subways developed, and also you see the flyovers are built over raised structures, especially in pillars. And basically flyover developed in where is dense population has live in the middle near of the highway, so where no traffic problem create, so they build flyovers. And there are several national and state highways, and they are India's most important expressways is known as Golden Quadrilateral, especially connect four major cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. And these national highways has now developed every corner of the India. And now we discuss railways. The railways carry heavy goods and people over long distances. In roadways, you see, so if you prefer short distance, then you go by road. But if you go like long distance and also carry heavy goods, then you prefer railways. And railways also quickly and very cheaply. The invention of the steam engine and the industrial revolution helped speedy development of rail transport. Firstly, we started when the started of railway, then use steam engine another, and nowadays electric engine use, and this is the very helpful for the speedy development of railway transport. And diesel and electric engines have largely replaced the steam engines nowadays. In places, super fast trains have been introduced to make the journey faster. The railway network is well developed over the plain areas, and is advanced technology skill have enabled to laying of railway lines of difficult mountains in terrains also. And in last 5 to 6 years, to government develop railway lines in mountain areas, especially in the terrains area, remote areas, and lots of railway track has opened to reach these remote areas very easily. Indian railway network is well developed. It is the largest in Asia. The train from Sinjing to Lhasa runs at an altitude of 4,000 meters above sea level, and the highest point in 5,072 meters. And one of the very important question is, and very important for the in competitive exam and other exams, the Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest railway system in world, and this railway system connected St. Petersburg in western Russia to Vladivostok on the Pacific coast, almost 9,000 plus kilometer approximately, and this is the longest railway system in world. Now let's discuss third means of transport, and that means is waterways. You have already learned that since early days waterways were used for transportation. Waterways are the cheapest for carrying, most important, cheapest for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distances. They are mainly of two types. First is inland waterways and second is sea routes. First, we discuss inland waterways. These waterways develop inside of the country, especially in rivers. The definition is navigable rivers and lakes are used as inland waterways. Some of the important inland waterways are the Ganga Brahmaputra in India, very important river system, the Great Lakes in North America, and the river Nile in Africa. And second is sea routes. Sea routes and ocean routes are mostly used from transporting merchandise and goods from one country to another, and one of the important sea routes is Atlantic Ocean routes. This route is connected North America and Western Europe, and these are the two hubs of trade centers. These routes are connected with the ports. Some of the important ports of the world are Singapore and Mumbai in Asia, New York, Los Angeles in North America, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Durban and Cape Town in South Africa, Sydney in Australia, London in and Rotterdam in Europe. Okay, these are the very important ports in waterways. And fourth means of transport is airways. This is the fastest way of transport developed in the early 20th century. It is also the most expensive due to high cost of fuels. But we reach anywhere very short time. Air traffic is advisorily affected by bad weather like fog and storms. It is the only mode of transport to reach the most remote and distant area, especially where there are no roads and railways. If we go to like the most remote areas, then you prefer airways, and especially in helicopters. And helicopters are extremely useful in most inaccessible areas and in time of calamities for rescuing people and distributing food, water, clothes and medicines. Some of the important airports in India is Delhi, Mumbai, and other in other countries like New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt and Cairo. These are the very important airports. Now our last part of the topic is communication. Communication is the process of conveying message to others. With the development of technology, humans have devised new and fast modes of communication. The advancement in the field of communication has brought about an information revolution in the world. Different modes of communication are used nowadays to provide information, to educate, as well as to entertain through newspapers, radio, and televisions. We can communicate with a large number of people in these days, and large number of people we connected. They are therefore called, and this is called therefore called mass media. The satellites have made communication even faster. Satellites have helped in oil exploration, survey of forest, underground water, mineral wealth, weather forecast, and disaster warning. Satellite system had very helpful. Now we can send electronic mails, and that short form is called emails, through internet. Wireless telephonic communication through cellular phones have become very popular today. Internet not only provides us with worldwide information and interaction, but has also made our life more comfortable. Now we can reserve ticket for railways, airways, and even cinemas and hotels sitting at home. With this kind of interconnectivity of people, services, and institutions across the world, we are a larger global society, and this is called globalization very easily, because nowadays world is shrinking, and that's the main reason is internet, satellites, and mass media. From related chapter, students do some activities. Activity number 1, list the different modes of transport used by the student of your class while coming to school. When you come to school, which transport you use? Activity number 2, where do you find welling made of ice? Who makes them and what are they called? Activity number 3, find out the names of some newspapers and TV news channels in English, Hindi, and a regional languages. And activity number 4, mention which mode of communication you will prefer most in the following situations. And the situations are, first situations are, your grandfather has suddenly fallen ill. How will you inform the doctor? First situation. Second situation is, your mother wants to sell the old car. How will the spread this newspaper or this news? Third situation, your friend has moved out with his family to New York. How will you keep in touch on a daily basis? Thank you, students.